Welcome to the Old Classic Car channel and this collection of photographs featuring classic fire engines, fire appliances, turntables, water carriers and fire support vehicles. And to begin with we have FMA 210, that's a 1938 Leyland Met, ex-Cheshire County Fire Brigade as it says in the livery on the side there, based in Macclesfield. There's a closer in look on the same vehicle at the pump arrangements. Very smart preserved example of a Leyland turntable ladder model TLM2A, according to the information sheet on the side there. Next up, AOM 53B, that's a 1964 Austin Gypsy support vehicle ex-triplex, presumably used on site somewhere. NED 146, that's a 1955 Dennis F2, another privately owned vehicle used by Joseph Crossfield and Sons Limited. There's a review of the same vehicle, NED, it's a Warrington registration, I believe that's a chemicals firm. Many of the larger companies back in the day did have their own independent fire service to use on site, on factories, etc. Next up, LBL 596, this is another Dennis F2. This one is ex-Royal Ordnance, Rolls-Royce powered, dating to May of 1955. There's a rear three-quarter view of the same vehicle. As you can see, Royal Ordnance based at Aldermaston. And here is the first of several green goddesses to feature in this particular collection, MYV 709, Bedford RL of course, dating to September 1955. Somewhat older, LFM 200, this is a Dennis Pump Escape based on the F7 from 1949. This one is ex-City of Chester Fire Service. Very smartly preserved example. Here's the same vehicle at a different event, taking part in the arena drive around. Continuing with these classic fire vehicles, we've got a Range Rover based vehicle down at the Brooklands Motor Museum. This is a Commando fire tender built by Carmichael in 1976, ex-Hawker Siddeley Aviation Limited at Dunsfold. Much older now is this Leyland LR 9675, this is ex-London Fire Brigade, dates to 1918. Note the solid rubber wheels and tyres rather on this example. Now first of two photographs featuring a Morris FG from 1965. This appears to be in the livery of JS Fry & Sons Limited, their own fire service. There's another view of the same vehicle. This was at a steam rally quite a few years ago now. This magnificent machine at the Yorkshire Air Museum is a Reynolds Broughton Chubb Pathfinder airport crash tender powered by a two-stroke supercharged V16 diesel engine. What a machine that must be. 841 UXB is next. This is a Studebaker from 1950. The Shannick Fire Company, NVF Co. There's a rear three-quarter view of the same vehicle with all its hoses still there. The Shannick, New Jersey. Next up we've got a Unimog BRE 618D, so that was registered in 1966. If you could add any more information on the vehicles shown here, some of these fire vehicles, please do so. Here we've got FYH 104. That's a 1939 Bedford WLG heavy unit. GAR 387C is next. That's a Series 2 or Series 2A Land Rover. LaVille Comma here at Weston Park, 2998 VF. That's a 1960 Comma Mark IV with Jennings body, bodied as a water tender. To the British Motor Museum down at Gaydon, TFC 953 is a 1952 Morris Minor based car. This was built and used at Morris Motors Cowley. Somewhat newer, circa 1985 or thereabouts, is this Renault Dodge based vehicle. Again, if you can add any more information on this one, please do so in the comments, always welcome. Nice Series 1 Land Rover here. This was spotted at Goodwood Revival a few years back. FF 8721, that dates to 1953, ex-Merioneth Fire Service. That's in Wales. Another Comma, BCC 450. This is also Welsh registered. This is a Comma QX Mark II water tender, bodied by Plaxton, a name more often associated with coaches, buses, that kind of thing. County of Carnarvon Fire Brigade. What a Bobby Dazzler that is. This mighty machine was spotted at Bruntingthorpe many years ago. It's an Oshkosh, an American Oshkosh. Looks like an ex-military vehicle. KAS 145, that's an American La France from 1949. It's been converted to a catering vehicle. This was down at Race Retro a few years back. Another American La France, SV9808. This one though dates to 1914 and has a 14.5 litre petrol engine apparently. BFL 785C is an AEC Mercury with Merryweather equipment, ex-Cambridgeshire Fire Service. This was on the Cheshire Run quite a few years ago, built in 1965. There's a rear view of the same vehicle, all its ladder arrangements, etc. Looking a little worse for wear out the back of an air museum that we visited about 3 or 4 years ago now is this old Bedford ex-Royal Air Force Fire and Rescue. Looks like it needs a little TLC, but all the equipment appears to be there. Now 2 classics here. We've got a 1966 Land Rover and a slightly earlier Austin Gypsy. Two classics here. We've seen the one on the right already. Next to it is RMB 996. That's a Dennis F8 water tender. Ex-Cheshire County Council Fire Brigade. 1953 is the build year for that one. PGW 163, another Bedford Green Goddess, or RHLZ 4x4, dates to 1956, this particular example, ex-Royal Air Force. Back to York Air Museum, or Yorkshire Air Museum, another one of these magnificent Reynolds Broughton Pathfinders, 2-stroke supercharged diesel, V16 engine. Wow. Here's a smart bit of kit, an XJR Jaguar. This is a fire officer's event support vehicle. Next up, looking a little worse for wear, but destined for restoration, I'm told. This was down at Norwich Air Museum, an ex-AFS World War II Austin fire vehicle. Now, first of several photographs taken in Portugal. This is a very unusual Bedford, sort of what, mid to late 1950s, I'm guessing. If you know any more about who may have bodied this particular vehicle, here's a review of the same one. Please let me know in the comments. I don't know a great deal about this at all, but it's preserved, that's the main thing. That's quite a wild looking vehicle. Also in Portugal we spotted this Series 2 or Series 2A left-hand drive Land Rover with a matching trailer on the back. Looks like it's still in use. At the same location we spotted from a distance this Series 1 Land Rover. Fortunately I was able to zoom in enough to get a photograph of it. Doesn't look like it's moved in a little while. I wonder if it's still there. Also in Portugal we got the first of 2 photographs of a classic Mercedes fire vehicle. Clearly a water tanker. I think this was in a forest area where they often have forest fires in mid-Portugal. There's another one here. And just to round off this particular section of Portuguese photographs, we've got an old fire hydrant here, built by a company in Porto. Anyway, back to classic fire engines in the UK, and we've got F272DNT. This is a Renault-based vehicle registered in December of 1988. 8.8 litre diesel behind that grille. Appears to be on sawn now, so is it still in use or around somewhere? FYY288 is next. This is an Austin K2 fire tender from the World War II in NFS livery. Down to Shobden Aerodrome, and another one of those Carmichaels based on the Range Rover. This used to be on display in the Donington Grand Prix Museum, GXA 95. That's a Dennis with a Merryweather TL, built around about 1942. This is a local vehicle, a Series 2 or Series 2A Land Rover 4317UR. That dates to the early 1950s, ex-Standard Communication Laboratories Limited. That's followed by a D-Series Ford G-Reg from 1968. Still plenty more classic fire engines and fire appliances to come. Here we've got another Green Goddess, SYH292. This was also at Elvington, Yorkshire Air Museum. As was this Comma Q4 bikini unit, RYX17. This one was registered in May of 1958. to the Leyland Motor Museum, I believe, and this ex-Johannesburg Fire Brigade Dennis. This dates to 1927. What a fantastic bit of kit that is. ARC-11B is a 1964 Land Rover ex-Rolls-Royce Fire Brigade, according to the livery on the door there. And this was parked alongside it, but it looks somewhat older, this Bedford Stork trailer pump, I believe. That looks more wartime, looks a lot older than the Land Rover, but I could be wrong. The side view of another Land Rover, this time a Series 1 ex-GEC, presumably used on their works at the Broad Oak Works in Portsmouth. So the Carnarvon Air Museum now, we've got GLR 376. This is an Austin K2 of the 1940s. NFF 209, two photos of this beauty. This is a GMC from 1937. It has a 3-litre petrol engine. Currently shows up as being sawn, but presumably it's still around somewhere being looked after. There's a view of it taking part in a parade. Still a few fire engines and fire appliances to come. Two photos here of a Leyland BDM 308. That's a Leyland Cub Pump Escape dating to 1938. Perhaps you remember some of these vehicles when they were still in use. It'd be great to read your comments. Very odd looking Land Rover here, forward control Land Rover NMB 39P. So what's that, about 1975 or thereabouts? This was at the Western Park Classic Car Show quite a few years ago, I think. A review of the same vehicle, fully laden with all the hoses and pumps, etc. Is this one still around? I haven't seen it for a long time. Another Cheshire Fire Brigade vehicle here. We've got a Dennis MTU 317H. That's my old Austin Devon in the corner there. The first of two photos of another Carmichael. It's not unusual to still find these in use on airfields around the UK. This one's numbered number 1. And this one is numbered number 2. What will these like to drive? If you've any experience of these particular vehicles, I'd be interested to read your thoughts about them. The oldest machine here is this fantastic steam vehicle, as used by the Chester Volunteer Fire Brigade. Got more gems here, FEU 196, that's French for fire, I believe. It's a Bedford TJ5 from March of '57. We've got another Austin down below. The Bedford GEO 552N from about 1974, based on the TK, ex-Lakeside and Haverthwaite Fire Service. Another Dennis NDJ 869, that's a Dennis F2 of February 1961. Just a few more to go now. This sad-looking machine was spotted in the Shropshire scrapyard quite a few years ago. It's all gone now, but if you can tell me a little bit more about this old Dennis, I'd certainly appreciate it. Two more ex-Cheshire Fire Brigade vehicles here. We've got the Dennis in the background and a Land Rover in the foreground, ex-registration. The Green Goddess NYV 819, liveried up as AFS, Auxiliary Fire Service. This particular vehicle, this old carrier, comma-based carrier, has been converted into a pizza oven, but PRX60 is basically a carrier Gamecock water ladder. And an old Land Rover, short wheelbase Land Rover, used for fire duties at the Slape airfield in Shropshire. Along with a short wheelbase Land Rover, there is also this long wheelbase Land Rover. I think this one originally was painted blue and has had the repaint in the last couple of years or so. Rounding out this collection of fire-related photographs, we've got the old fire section building down at Bicester Heritage. I hope this collection of classic fire engine appliances and turntables was of interest. There are plenty of lorry and commercial vehicle videos elsewhere on the channel, so please check those out if you're into your heavy metal, if you like, and more videos along very, very soon. Bye for now.